back again this glorious day. Well, actually, it's very cloudy and grey out there for me, but I am back today with Claudio, James, and Nigel. So, hi, guys.
Hi, all.
Hi, James. Hi, Nigel.
Yeah.
Hi, Nigel. Hi, guys.
Hi, Claudio.
A momentous day here with you three on a hangout. Brilliant. Well, I said before we started that maybe we just go through each one of you so you can explain just a little bit more about yourself and then why we've come together to talk. So if I start with Claudio.
All right. Thank you, Karen. What I've been working on is basically finding like the root of things. Where do they come from? Just like when I was in school, I wouldn't be able to understand anything unless I wanted to break it right down to the root, which was really hard in school. Obviously, the things they taught us wasn't the things I'm learning today. So that being physics and metaphysics, and from there everything expunges out. So the core of the root of everything is physics and metaphysics, to which then I branched out from there, and it's all seeming to all fit. Obviously, is the astrology, the Dendra zodiac. We're deciphering that. We learn stuff every day, every single day, on how it's fitting with our lives and what's happening. And this mirroring, like James was talking about, or Nigel, it's the as above, so below, as we know, quoting Santos. I mean, I'm sure Santos heard that from other people too, but so I'm focusing on keeping everything that fits with any, all the sciences all fit now with physics and metaphysics, thanks to Ken Wheeler. So right now what we're doing is focusing on physics, metaphysics, the Dendra zodiac, which is the oldest living Bible that we know. It is a story of the walk path of our life. And what I'm doing is just studying that and showing what we learn. It's all research. From there, that stemmed into doing chart reading for people, which we do for free. We then find all the similarities to what's happening above is so below. So it works, it fits. We done the stock market. We did 3 events just because we felt that something was going to happen, and all 3 did happen. We'll use it for anything else. We don't use it to try to make pixels. No, that's going to all crash anyway. That's upon us. So we're following the ages of the Dendra, the zodiac, and how it's all written in the Bible as well. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And then it all leads to all the sciences and biology and health and healing, and it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, it is a beautiful thing, Claudio. Thank you so much for that, Claudio. Thanks for introducing yourself. James.
Hi, Karen.
Hello, my darling.
Hi, Claudio. And sorry, I've forgotten your name.
Nigel.
Nigel. Sorry. My apologies. I find it so exciting to be a guest on Sunandmoonfamily. I can barely sit still or hold a thought in my head. I guess it's the excitement. I guess it's something only a guest can feel.
Oh, James, that's very sweet of you.
There's, I've got other people here. We've got Jesse, and he's a bit rough and ready, because he'll say things like, "Yo, bitch, you want to trade some blue crystal?" That sort of thing. He's often with Mr. White. But actually, can you hear birds singing?
No, I could.
I can't.
I have to remind myself. Some birds aren't meant to be caged.
I told you the birds don't sing very much anymore.
Some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice, but still a place you live where it's much more drab and empty, that they're gone. I guess I just miss my friend. And if anybody wants some deep baritone voiceovers, I'm available for hire. I am more than a free man.
I love that, James. Thanks so much. Yay. James is a free man.
Brilliant.
Thank you,
Brilliant.
James. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay. Hey, Nigel, your turn next.
When you suggested that we did this this podcast with James and Claudio, I didn't realise who James was, and now I do because I'm subscribed to his channel. James, I absolutely love the stuff that you put out. It so resonates with me. And if anybody listening to this doesn't know who James is, go to James Brockhurst. Because the stuff that he puts out is absolutely off the charts. I'm honoured to be on a podcast with you, my friend. And I mean that from the heart. I really do. I mean that from the heart. You're a wonderful guy. I love your information. It totally resonates with me. And yeah, every time I see you pop up in my feed, I jump straight onto your podcast. So just want you to know that. But as for me, well, I've been down every single rabbit hole you could possibly imagine since my awakening. I've written 3 books. Well, I've actually written 4. The 4th one was supposed to be out in February this year, but then of course we were hit with a virus and everything else. So I haven't got number 4 out yet. They're all free. Karen's got the link. I'm sure Karen will put the link in the description. Just jump on there and you can either read them online. They're all in Dropbox, so you can either read them online or you can download them. But my journey, my awakening has been probably one of the most profound compared to anybody else's journey that I've or anybody else who I've spoken to with respect to their own personal journey. My primary focus has been exposing the deception in the Bible and how quote-unquote Christianity is all totally 100% connected to the NWO, how it's all part and part of the same agenda, how the Bible, especially Revelation, is all part of the scripts, how prophecy, biblical prophecy is over. It's all finished many years ago, and how part of that quote unquote prophecy has been made to appear to be future prophecy, which it's not. I can assure you it's not. It's all a script. How we're all living in a movie. Actually, I've come to the conclusion that we're actually living in a play, in a movie, in a movie. So this is multi-dimensional. Karen and I, we've had so many chats. I mean, we'll sit and talk for 6, 7, 8 hours privately. And she's blown me away with some of the stuff that she's laid out, and I've blown her away with some of the stuff that I've laid out. But we both kind of get it. We're both totally 100% on the same page. But ever since we came together as friends, everything has been thrown at us in order to make life as difficult as possible. And I suggested that she go and watch that movie, The Adjustment Bureau, and it totally blew her away. She put out a video today. If you haven't watched it, it's right there on her channel. And she's like, it's like, Nigel, I get it. And it is absolutely off the charts. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, any subject is, we can talk about anything.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Nigel. Thank you, everybody. I'm with a nice spiritual hangout people here today. So that's really great. So we're going to do a discussion. So we are living in the Adjustment Bureau. So Nigel's just said that. So James or Claudio, do you agree with that? Have you seen the film?
I've not seen the film. Oh, before I just want to say, wow, Nigel, thank you. I didn't realise you'd subscribed to the channel, which will return the courtesy as well, because from what said, we're all on the same page, as it were. I mean, from Genesis to Revelation, it's the great play, and that's saying about what page are you on. I think, I mean, they're all those characters. They're personifications, so you can play any part. If you're full of doubt, then you're playing Thomas. All the names have a meaning behind them.
Yeah.
But they've turned the script you are into a script. Everything is a twist. It's like that wire around the top of a bottle. It's two ends, but they're actually connected, and it's one's twisted to be the mirror of the other, because everything in this is duality and opposition in this thing we're in.
We talk about biblical scriptures, and Karen and I were talking about this the other night, and she didn't quite get it at first. No disrespect, Karen, but scriptures is your script. URE is spoken or pronounced the same way as YOUR, so scriptures is your script. Now, James, just a quick side note, my friend, you say that you haven't realised. Yes, you have, because you replied to many of my comments. I come up on your channel as the Devil's Playground channel. And the reason that I use that, and the reason that my book series is called The Devil's Playground, is because that's literally where we live. We live in a huge Disney World. We live in a huge theme park. And I just happen to call that theme park the Devil's Playground. And the amount of people that I see online, or I'm talking to in chat, and they see me pop up as the Devil's Playground channel, automatically can't, oh, I don't want to talk to him, I don't want to talk to him. And they don't actually realise that even that's my handle, my YouTube handle, and the name of my books. They see that and they run away. And it's like, no, hang on, guys. You know, I use that handle, the Devil's Playground, and the Devil's Playground channel on YouTube. You've got to put the word channel in on YouTube, because if you just type in the Devil's Playground, you won't find me. But that's because where we live, it really is. But again, you know, something that Karen and I were talking about on our last, or we touched on our last chat, and we've spoken privately, and we're going to do it on the next one, is people have got no idea in reality what God is and what Satan is. They're personified in the Bible. You know, it's one dude, it's Jesus, and it's Satan. It's always one dude, but it's quite the opposite. It's completely, totally, 100% different to the way we're taught, or the way we've been taught. But I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for now. I'm going to keep you all in suspenders. I'm going to save that for now, and that's something that Karen and I are going to do on our next Hangout podcast.
Yeah, we are. We are, Nigel. Claudio, do you want to say anything?
Sure. Yeah, I agree. This is a script. It's a predetermined script. I like to call it, and like the Egyptians called it, it's called the Akashic Records, that Mercury holds near and dear to his heart. So we have a script. Everything we do is not coincident, is not random, not by chance. We take little rights and left turns on a labyrinth in our life, but our path is already predetermined, and there are several paths. That's the story of Christmas past, present, and future. We are on our path, but that path means it's going to come back unless you do something different, and that's what the Egyptians knew. And that's the part of the metaphysics that Ken Wheeler teaches. It's a beautiful thing. He doesn't talk much about Egypt, but I know he's studying and also trying to decode the Emerald tablets. So, or the Rosetta Stone. Sorry, the Rosetta Stone. Yeah, this is pre-scripted, but it's our time as we just come into the age of Aquarius to realize that it's pre-scripted and realize that every one of us is a brother and sister in the whole world, and that they've all been scripted, and we need to show them love even though they've been not good. I mean, that can vary how much love and from a distance we do. But yeah, we are 100% in a play, but our expectations of this play have to lead towards one love. And
Yes.
I'll just stick with that.
Yes. Yes. Now, the way that I see it is we could get to let's just call it for ease of conversation, that we get to a crossroads and we're faced with a decision. Do we turn left or do we turn right? Well, both sides are scripted. So if we turn left, we're going to get to a predetermined destination, which is the complete opposite to what that destination would have been if we turn right. And if we turn left, we'll never know what would have happened had we made the decision to turn right. So we have that freedom of choice, or we appear to have been given that freedom of choice. But it doesn't matter which way you go. If you go left, you're gonna run into something that's predetermined, and if you go right, you're gonna turn into something that's predetermined. So in my opinion, the freedom of choice is, again, it's an illusion. It means nothing. You know, and I'm not ashamed to say what I'm going to say. I think that I honestly, I'm not going to use the word believe, because I don't believe anything. The word believe has got LIE right in the middle of it. But I am firmly under the impression, or I understand that I think all of us who are quote unquote awake made a conscious decision to incarnate. We made some kind of contract to come into this realm in order to basically be awoken at some point in our lives. And once that time arrived, that our mission, if you like, that the part of our contract was to try and help as many other people come to the realization what this realm is. And that's fine, making a contract, but a contract works both ways. You know, if you want to employ me, or you want to employ Karen to come and work for you, and you know, a contract is signed, and it's really and truly, well, if you do this, then I will give you that, or you will get that. And I've been thinking about this contract idea for quite a long time, but a contract it's always a two-way contract. So if we really did sign a contract to come into this realm, to incarnate into this realm, in order to do what we're doing, or what we're trying to do, which is to essentially wake people up, or let them know that they've got the spark of divinity, then, you know, there has to come a point in that journey where, you know, it's payback time. You know, whoever we signed the contract with, it's like, well, hang on a minute, we're holding up our part of the bargain. Where's yours? And you know, I've been sub to Karen's channel for a long time, and we actually started talking probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now we're talking every day and so on and so forth, and we are so much on the same level. We just see everything that each other sees, and maybe, just maybe, I'm only throwing it out there, that maybe the bargain was, well, look, if you go down there and you be of service to others, and you do good things, and you try to help other people and so on and so forth, then, you know, at some point along that journey, we're going to make sure that you meet your soulmate, or your, for want of a better word, your twin flame. And that's really where, I mean, Karen and I have not met in the physical, but that's not important, because who we are is far more important than what we are. And Karen and I have got so many connections on the same level. It's almost like we are resonating at the same frequency, which I know James knows all about. We're on the same wavelength, for want of a better word. But now we're stuck into this Lyrus nonsense. I mean, she could have been on a plane a week ago to come over here and, you know, spend some time together. But again, the Adjustment Bureau just seem to be jumping in at every step of the way and preventing us from doing what we want to do. It's kind of crazy. But when I think about it in that on that level, in that particular way, it just makes so much sense. I mean, why would any of us make a contract or sign a contract to come here to be of service to others and help other people, when really and truly it's all a personal journey? You know, we've got to be a little bit, I don't want to use the word selfish, but we've got to be a little bit, well, hang on a minute, I'm prepared to do that. What am I going to get out of it? How is it going to benefit me? Well, how about we introduce you to your twin flame? How about we, you know, at some point in your life, get you two guys together? Now, when Karen and I were talking earlier on today, she said, Nigel, I was told that 17 years ago. And I'm like, well, where is he? But, you know, well, time doesn't really matter outside this realm because time is a construct. So whether it takes 17 years or 70 years, as long as it happens, it doesn't matter. And I'm not embarrassed to say that, far from it. I'm actually quite overjoyed and quite happy, more than happy to have met Karen. And I know she feels the same way. So, you know, it's all about give and take. It's all about balance. It's all about as above, so below. You know, we hold up our part of the bargain, and then we're given the other part of the bargain that maybe we don't actually know about until it happens. And I think James would resonate with that. What do you think, James?
Yeah, very, very total agreement with all of this. The thing I'm finding by looking at things in a very different way, and sort of almost going back to the blank piece of paper, you actually get more joy and satisfaction out of helping somebody else. And I mean, some of the wonderful comments I got, things like, "Oh, I really needed to hear that today." It's like, that's mission accomplished. If that message has helped somebody else, then I'm happy. There's no amount of money can give you that feeling.
No, you're right. Absolutely right. I don't know if you saw it, and I don't want to cut you off here, but I just want to throw this in. I don't know if you saw the first podcast that Karen and I did, and then afterwards, very shortly afterwards, she was having a phone call with a friend of hers called Gary, and he wasn't aware that she was recording the phone call. So he was talking freely and so on and so forth. And he was just absolutely blown away. I mean, it was an hour and 42 minutes or something crazy that Karen and I were talking on this podcast. And Gary's going, Karen, you've got to get this guy back on, this guy from China, you've got to get him back on. You know, I was blown away. I was glued to the computer because I got this whole picture, this whole jigsaw picture in my brain or in my mind, but there was so many pieces missing that I couldn't see the whole picture. He said, and after I listened to you and Nigel talking, he said, all those blank pieces were all filled in and I could see it. Now, when I heard that, I sent Karen a message and I said, look, if what we did, we spent an hour and 42 minutes chatting and she put a lot of work in to creating that video and putting it out. And I said, if we have just helped one person find all the pieces that he thought he was missing, then, you know, we've done what we came here to do. We've done our job. We fulfilled our contract.
Nigel,
you know, I mean,
Nigel, I feel at the moment, thank you very much for your kind words, by the way, Nigel. We're running out of time though, aren't we, in this realm?
Oh, yeah. Oh, without doubt. We are running out of time. Absolutely.
Gary sent me a message today. He said, your China friend is 100% correct. Don't waste energy trying to wake people up. It's not worth it. Because if they can't get the easiest of the lot, which is obviously the Lyras, concentrate on your own frequency and increase it, and the marches are achieving. If no one else is awakening, baby truthers still believe in a political system. We are above all that. And like I said before, I question their integrity now, Karen. That's what he said.
Well,
today.
When we look on this on a slightly higher level, and maybe you guys have not considered this, but it's been in front of our faces since before we were even born. Now, there is a book, I'm sure you've all heard of it. It's called The Last President by a guy called Ingersoll Lockwood. And I think it came out in the 1890s. And he wrote 2 or 3 books talking about Baron Trump and so on and so forth. And it's all there, The Last President. Now, before you put this out, Karen, I will send you a part of a video that you can add to the end of this, where you've got Don actually admitting on camera, we have created the biggest voter fraud ever. So when we link that to the last president, as in the book, Ingersoll Lockwood's book, what we're witnessing now, in my opinion, is not so much as Trump being the last president, but basically being the end of the electoral system. Because once this whole fraud has been exposed and people can see it, they're never, ever, ever going to trust the voting system again. So, whether or not America, Trump becomes a dictator or whatever, as long as he's benevolent, it really doesn't matter. But what we are witnessing when it comes to Trump being the last president is simply, it's not a bad thing. I see it as simply being the end of the electoral system, the voting system, because nobody's ever going to trust it again once all this comes out. And it's all being admitted, it's all right in front of our faces. But for the most part, people can't see it. They can't see it. They either can't see it or they don't want to see it. And that's the worrying thing. Go on.
If you look up, suddenly that other virus in whenever it was, before the First World War came in, a Spanish flu.
Oh, yeah, 1918. Yeah.
They actually say in there that the people stopped believing in what the government was saying and went against, they weren't very happy with the government. And that's the same thing's hopefully going to happen now. And also, back to the Adjustment Bureau, it's got ment in it again, which is adjust the mind. Adjust the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can analyze any particular word, right? Let's take the word, just for argument's sake, element or elemental. There are supposed to be 4 elements: air, fire, water. What's the 4th one?
Air, fire, water, earth, and
air, fire, water, and earth, right? But there's supposed to be a 5th element. Well, when you look at the word Ella, kind of sounds a little bit like Allah, being the Muslim or God. But when you spell it out, Allah is ALLAH, which is arm, leg, arm, head. And I know that this resonates with James. It all goes back to the first biblical creation of Genesis 1:27. And remind me to come back to Genesis 1:27 because there's a huge connection there. You've got the Genesis 1:27 connection, whereby the Elohim, it wasn't God, it was the Elohim that created humankind. And as little g gods, well, arm, leg, arm, head, Allah. Ment means mind, so now you've got to add the mind to it, the spiritual side, the soul, whatever you want to call it. So elements or elemental becomes the body, arm, leg, arm, head, plus the mind. Ment.
I can tell you what one of the other elements are. That's surprise. The element of surprise.
Yes. Yeah. And we call it the element of surprise, James, don't we? We actually call it the element of surprise. So that's an awesome connection, bro.
Thank you. if you scroll back a little bit further, it says that the waters above were separated by the waters below by a firmament.
Yep. Well, there you go.
Dream
Meant again.
dream.
Yeah. Meant again.
The chance to dream. Life is but a dream.
But when we go, it's quite easy to see the war on humanity or the war on the first creation created by the God of the Old Testament, who created the second creation, which is Adam and Eve, and created them to be slaves to the first creation. So my connection, or one of the connections that I've made, is that the first creation was in Genesis 1:27. So we have 1, 2, 7. Well, just cast your mind back to September 11. What buildings came down? 1, 2, and 7. Oh, okay. When was the attack on Pearl Harbor? December the 7th, 1, 2, 7. So this has been going on for a long, long time. And then when we have the second creation in the Bible, the Adam and Eve, that is 2:7, Genesis 2 verse 7. So the 1 has gone, but 1 looks like an I. I is the 9th letter of the alphabet. I is me. It's who I am, who you are, for want of a better word. Because you look in the mirror and say, this is me, this is I am. So they deleted the 1 from the Genesis 2 creation and made it into Genesis 2 verse 7, which is a complete reflection of Genesis 1:27, but they deleted the 1, which is the I. It's all connected. I mean, you know, people can find their own ideas and make their own connections, but it's right there in front. Pearl Harbor happened on December the 7th, which is 12/7. September 11, buildings 1, 2, 7, it's all connected, all of it. It's about the destruction of the first creation. First creation, the first biblical creation, has the spark of divinity. The second creation didn't have the spark of divinity, but the third quote-unquote creation, which wasn't a creation, was a hybrid. And Karen and I spoke at length about this in the first podcast that we did, where it says in Genesis 6:2, the sons of the Elohim, which were the first creation, saw that the daughters of Adam were fair and took them for their wives. So you had that kind of interbreeding between the first and the second, which created obviously an offspring, which would have been a hybrid. It's a bit like me, you know, I've lived in China for many years. It's a bit like me having a baby with a Chinese woman. That would be a hybrid. And when that child grows up and has their own children, they're still going to have that element of both the Eastern and the Western. And when that child grows up, they're never going to lose it. So it might get smaller and smaller and smaller. That little spark of English and that little spark of Chinese is always going to be there. And that's why many scholars have spoken about the Jesus character being he's us, being he's us. A multitude of these guys went out all over the earth essentially looking for hybrids, because the hybrids had that, or still have that spark of divinity, no matter how small, no matter how much that spark of divinity may have been bred out over the generations, it still actually remains. If me and a Chinese woman had a baby together, well, that baby will grow up, and that child's great grandkids are still going to have that spark of me and that spark of her. That's pretty much how I see it, and this is why the Jesus character spoke in parables, which is why he made the blind see and those who were deaf hear, and so on and so forth, because he was looking for essentially the hybrids as opposed to the purebred Adam and Eve. And what we only need to look out of our front door or look out of our window and see the people wearing masks and holding their arm out for the Jackson, they are in my opinion, they are predominantly the descendants of the Adam and Eves, which are soulless NPCs, whatever you want to call them.
It is really strange that we're all sort of born in the same reality, and like these people could be your parents, your brothers, or your friends. That's what you realise.
Yeah.
I think Claudio.
But I'm not sure. Claudio, can I ask you when were you born?
You're muted, Claudio.
Claudio?
Yeah, when was I born?
What year were you born?
1961.
Right, 1961. I'm 1961. Karen's 1963. James, I know you're the same generation.
Yeah, I'm 66.
Right, okay,
Oh,
so
you're the baby.
you're the baby of the family. But essentially, we were all born in the 1960s, so we're all the same generation. That is not by coincidence. Make no mistake, there's no such thing as coincidences in this realm. We were all born in the same generation, and we're all as aware of what is going on as each other. Nothing surprises us anymore. As I say, Karen and I, we've blown each other away with how much we both understand and both inwardly, or understand, I should say, James, understand. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing. But it's no coincidence that we're all part of the same generation, because I really think we all made a contract, we all signed a contract and said, right, we'll go and do whatever we can do, and you fulfill your side of the bargain, and off we go. It just makes so much sense. The whole thing makes so much sense.
Absolutely.
In logical terms. Not necessarily spiritual, I'm just talking about logical terms. It all makes so much sense.
I agree. There's so many ways of interpreting, even with the Adam and Eve as being the divine masculine and the divine feminine within one mind. But the other bit I wanted to just quote was Psalm 82, verse 6. It says, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So it's talking about the physical vessel, which is the carrier of the soul and the spirit. I'd like to hear Claudio how this fits, because Claudio has got the greatest expertise on the astrological here. So I'd love to hear Claudio
well, before maybe just maybe, James, before we get to Claudio to reply to that, I can't quote the actual verse. I can't remember the actual verse, but in the New Testament, the biblical Jesus also said, questioned, know ye not ye are gods? He also said, he, being in quote unquote, he also said the kingdom of God is within you. But the most important tie-in with Psalm 89 and the Jesus character is, know ye not ye are gods. But what's happened, we've been indoctrinated into a system that, we think God, quote unquote God, is this guy with a long beard on a cloud, and it's not. It's the original creation, and those that are still connected to that original creation in Genesis 1:27, because it wasn't God that created us; it was the Elohim. The Elohim created mankind in their likeness and after their in their image and after their likeness. So if we're gonna refer to them as gods, big G gods, because they created us, then if they created us in their likeness and after their keep getting that wrong, in their image and after their likeness, then surely they created little G gods, Elohim in training, for want of a better word. Psalm 89 also says the same thing. So What do you think, Claudio? How does that fit in with the astrology?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I prepared this as I was learning it for today, which is pretty amazing that it's all meant to be for this discussion, right? I'm going to share my screen, and pictures worth 1,000 words, and I know it helps the viewers too. So, and you guys, if you're interested, I believe you may be on this book. This is crazy. It's awesome. 1 second, I'm going to try to share my screen here. All right. So.
Need to put the hangout down. That's it. Cool.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I'll just put it up on the computer.
This is an excerpt of the book, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, Volume 2. Very interesting that this is on page 906. See it? And that's the yin yang. The O is the dot in the middle, the ether, the Godhead.
Yes.
The glyph of God is yin yang. So yes, we are gods.
Yeah.
Because we are in manifest. We are using the ether to project into manifestation, into a 3D, what man calls 3D. But let me just show you, this book is awesome because it shows you the difference between Egyptian and Christian. But I just wanted to get down to show you right here. I'm going to show you 3. Isis, the Virgin Mother of You, I-U. I-U is you, Y-O-U, and the letter I is the 9th letter, which means we are in manifest, and the U, when you look at the Dendra zodiac, or the alpha beta wrapped around the circle of 60 repeating numbers, the U is at the bottom of the domain of Horus, and that's where we come back. That's where we come back for another round on the Dendra. So you can see that they're teaching us all about exactly our life path here. And there is no end, there is no such thing as time, and we are infinite. But during our infinite roundabout on dying on the cross, this is what we have to learn. So this is university, universe, one love. So then you can also see the first Horus as child of the Virgin, the second as son of Ra, the father. Well, I didn't finish putting that over here, but that's the yin yang. We're talking about the yin yang here. Okay, one is the black, which is our collective consciousness, which is one love, which is the female energy that's going to bring us back. And that's why you have La Madonna di Canetto in Italy. They carry around a statue of a lady in the clouds, which she's visited me twice, by the way, carrying a black baby. Because this is the woman of the underworld coming back to save her son. And her son is every one of us, the gods.
Yeah.
So the third one.
Totally agree.
Right, the 2 mothers of the child Horus, Isis and Nephthys, who were 2 sisters. Well, that's the story of Isis and Nephthys, which is the Virgin Mary and Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is, by the way, represented by, Virgin Mary is represented by Virgo. Mary Magdalene is Taurus, the one who carries you. Oh, that's the earthen mother. And so that'd be Eris and Juno. That's what they call them today. That's what NASA calls them, rightfully so. And that's the wicked witch of the west, the underworld, the black witch, and the one of the east, the one of the day. The soul of the night and the day. So everything is.
If I can just throw something in here, Claudio, what a lot of people don't realise is the word Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible, and it's a very, very long Bible. The word Genesis comes from genes of Isis. That's where the word was. That's the etymology of the word. Is the genes of Isis.
100%. Every word that we use is part and from the alpha beta. Every letter means something, and we've put them into words, and then we've made images out of those words which aren't good. So we're doing it to ourselves.
Yes, we are
creators, and the only way we create is with images. So that's why I always try to tell people, careful what image you allow in your head, because you're manifesting that. If you want to manifest
that kind of leads us into the Satan, the biblical Satan, which Satan in the etymology means adversary, or adverses, as James would break that down to adverses, adversary, or enemy. So Satan is the enemy of humanity, and when you when you think about the biblical, again, I forget the passage, but we've all heard about Satan taking Jesus up onto the highest mountain and looking out over the four corners of the earth and saying, I will give you all of this if you will fall down and worship me. But that just represents materialism. That's all it is. When you actually break it down, the biblical Satan was saying that if you worship materialism, you can have materialism. You can have whatever you want. You can have the big car and the fancy house and so on and so forth if you fall down and worship me. It's got nothing to do with two guys up on a mountain. It's purely and simply that you can have whatever you want, providing you worship Satan, which is the beast or the adversary, the enemy of love, the enemy of humanity. That goes back to what I said earlier about love being God. God is love. That's it. It's just unconditional love.
Yeah, so if you look in the Dendra Zodiac, there's the infant prince. It's the mother, Isis, sitting on the throne, holding the baby Jesus, the son, us, the God, the you, in her hand before you go round for another round on dying on the cross. So Satan is Santa. And the way I got that one is while I was in a funeral home, my step-granddaughter points to the stained glass window and says, oh, look, Santa. And I looked, going, oh my God. She just gave me something and I didn't even realize it. Santa in Italian means saint. So the saint, now the Isis story in Italy is La Befana, same Christmas story. So Satan is a misrepresentation of Isis. The story of bringing you up on the mountaintop is, okay, we're going to let you in here. You have God powers. You can get anything you want. Just be careful what you ask for. That story is the mother of all mothers before she plunges you into the waters of this 3D realm, saying to you, be careful what you ask for. And that happens during the Piscean age. We're in our lowest lack of love.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
Our greatest, right. So in Piscean age, we have the least amount of love. Okay, this is a lesson. Look what you guys can create. If we went another 26,000 years, it wouldn't be exactly like this, but it would feel the same because we have lack of light. And so now we're getting into the age of Aquarius, which happened on March the 20th of this year, 2020, proven by a French astronomer who's so awesome. We're in age of Aquarius. The mother, Isis, has been cycling in and out of her head since last year, and she's work hardening us. She's going to rise with the sun in Easter 2022. On the east, Eris, Isis, rises with the sun on Easter 2022. She then cycles out again. This is her bringing you to the mountaintop. She's bringing you in, she's coming into Aries in your head and saying, and she's showing you now, this is the story of the Scrooge, is upon us. She says, hey, I'm bringing you to the mountaintop. The mountaintop is the highest portion of lack of love, the highest portion of light manifestation that you can do whatever you want, right? While I'm gone away from home, because she hasn't been in our head for 559 years. But last time she was in Pisces, where she was the least amount visible to us. So everything that you say is 100% in the Dendra Zodiac. And she's here, and they're here now. We're being lit up. In 2024 of February of 2024, she's in our head to stay. She cycles in and out doing a work hardening from Pisces to Aries. There's your pole shift that everybody's talking about. So she goes from Pisces to Aries.
I've been saying for many, many years that this, whatever it is we're going through now, is going to culminate in 2024. 2024 is going to be the pivotal point. Whether we go into the dark or the light is really going to be up to us.
That's what Claudio says, isn't it, Claudio? Yeah. That's what you said.
See, the beautiful part is we are tethered. We're here as an experience. It's a play. So we either get on board because there is no turning back, we either get on board or we come back and we get reborn into a more loving family. You get to reborn into a whole new different light. So the kids that are going to be born on the Easter of 2024 or 2022, 23 are going to be very, very lit up. And so every kid doesn't have to be just on Easter, but everybody after that now is born with Eris in Aries instead of Aries in Pisces. So everything that we're doing, everything that we're saying is pre-written, and our ability now, because we're getting the etheric waters from John the Baptist right now, right?
Yeah.
Those etheric waters are lighting us up in a small way, because that's only age of Aquarius. But Mama is coming in, the story of Santa Claus, to come down that chimney. She went from Pisces up to Aries in the head. There's Santos Bonacci. I thank him for teaching me that story. But that's La Befana.
Yeah, he talks about Santa Claus being the Claus being short for Claustrum, doesn't he?
Right,
Santos.
100%. Santa, Saint Claustrum. That's Isis. That's the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
So we just came out of an.
But isn't there sorry, Claudio? Isn't there some passage in the Bible where the biblical Jesus talks about something? I forget. Oh shit! I'm probably gonna screw this up, but it's something like when you see somebody, when you see this dude carrying a pitcher of water into a house, follow him, and that directly relates to the age of Aquarius, because Aquarius, aqua, water, and the astrological sign or symbol is this guy with a pitcher of water. Am I on? Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I don't know the passage itself. I'm starting to go look into them, but instead of trying to decipher the Bible, because you can look. I can look at passages now, understanding metaphysics and physics, right? That I'm able to read between the lines. Some take more thought than others, and some I got to come back to. We're not all knowing. But yeah, 100%. It's so.
Yeah, I can't remember what passage it is. I can't even remember.
Yeah, we're spending our time decoding the Dendera Bible, which was left there as images, not words, because words play games on you with images. When the Egyptians put the glyphs together, that's a story. They left those as breadcrumbs for us because they fully knew that we're heading into the dark ages of Piscean age. So they had to leave us some breadcrumbs. And just like the chain around your neck with a cross, that's the ankh that they carry. When you put the ankh, take your chain off your head, put your chain in your left hand, because that's the spirit hand, and you hold it, you're telling them, I'm aware that I'm on these infinite rebirths, re-embodiments, deaths on the cross, walk path of Jesus. So when you take that off and look up to the sky and look up at a luminary and say, I get it, Godhead, right? We're a God, we're down here, we're young stars, right? Young stars. So those are the type of, I'm not going to call them rituals, but it's for your own being, knowing when you're doing that, you're aware of this awareness that is upon us. Which is a beautiful thing.
What they've done, and again, James is awesome when it comes to breaking down words, meaning of words, and so on and so forth. Youngsters, young stars, yes. But what they've done, you see, they have given us words like ritual and ceremony, which I see as essentially having the same meaning, but the ceremony we're taught kind of leans towards the positive, and the ritual leans towards the negative. It's the same with fate and destiny. They actually have the exact same meaning, but fate has got that negative connotation. Oh, he was in a fatal accident. And destiny has that positive connotation. Oh, Karen and I were destined to meet. But the actual underlying meaning is the same thing. It's something unexpected. And it's the same with a ritual and a ceremony. It's a rite. They're both a rite, R-I-T-E. Whereas a ceremony, like, you have a marriage ceremony and you have a satanic ritual. So again, it's all to do with indoctrination. It's all to do with the nonsense and the crap that we're taught and the way that we're brainwashed. Karen and I were talking earlier today, and she was saying, no, it's not our soul they want, it's our mind. And I went, well, yeah, of course it is. That's why we're brainwashed. That's why everything that we think or everything that we believe, and of course, believe's got L-I-E right in the middle of it, and people are so stuck in their belief system. Oh, you can't say that about Jesus, and you can't say that about God, and you can't. Well, that's just indoctrination. They believe what they're taught. They don't look into it. They don't research it. They don't go that, they don't go down to the basement and look at what's going on down there. They don't even go down one level. And, this is the first time that you and I have met, Claudio, but, I've got so much respect for James because of the stuff that he puts out and the way that he puts it out, on the level that he puts it out, because he goes down a level, he goes up a level, and he just, the way he breaks down words and the way, and I'm not blowing smoke up your backside, James. I'm just telling you how I see it. It's people need to. You should have 1 million subscribers on your channel, James. You really should.
Thank you. Well, that then sort of would probably make me a target. I'd rather people just took the words off the videos and made their own interpretations and just spread the message. So I want to go back to the thing with the Christmas tree. You've got your claustrum, which is the cloister in the church, the confessional. It sends the gifts down the spine. So presents are like Santa. This really comes from Santos. Presents are wrapped in red because they go with the lowest of the 7 chakras. They are the gifts that are sent down to the lower chakras. Now, what was ceremony? Now, what it's like? Well, this is how I see it. You've got your cerebrum, your Sarah Abraham. So you're selling Sarah for money, so it's a Sarah money. This is also in Terminator. You've got Kyle Reese. Well, he is like a seer because he's from the future. Now, Sarah, she's being conned. She's the divine feminine. This is saying the same story as, well, all we are seeing on the screens, every book, everything we're shown is the same story, just on a different stage. But remember, the world is a stage, and on a stage that size, like any stage, it can have many trapdoors. And they're the rabbit.
Bro, this is why I love you so much, because you break this stuff down. You've got a knack of seeing what most people can't see. Even people like me and Karen and Claudio. You've just got this knack of breaking words down, and it's awesome. But talking of the chakras, and this is just something that I'm going to throw in. I don't want to interrupt you, or I don't want to interrupt your flow, but this is something that I have to throw in. The lowest chakra is the groin. Let's try and keep this polite. The lowest chakra is the groin, which is why we see so much emphasis from Hollywood and everything, TV, while insofar as everything is pointed towards sex. And then when you relate that whole thing to the church, where do priests and vicars train? Oh yeah, that's it. It's in a seminary or a seminary. It's absolutely off the charts what has been done to us. They want to keep us in the lowest chakras, the first 2 or 3. Once you get above the 3rd, then you become a target. They really don't want us going up there. They want to keep us down in the 1st, which is just lust, for want of a better word. It's sex, it's lust, it's the lowest chakra of them all.
Can I just say something? Claudio's into all that, aren't you, Claudio?
I'm sorry, which part of it? covered a few things.
Well, the one love, the whole thing. That's what you talk to me about all the time, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. One love. Yep.
One love, yeah. Unconditional love. Yes, absolutely.
If I can, I'd like to talk about the they, because we all use they a lot. The they is us. The they is the script. So the Armageddon that's upon us right now, going through the pole shift, is the ability to be able to now to let go of the materialistic things. Mars went retrograde today, by the way. I'm sorry, Mars went back direct today in Pisces. He's heading back to have a meeting with Isis before he heads into Aries, our head. She. All lights are female. Some have a little bit more male qualities to them, but they're all female. So the they is us, and it's our script. The Armageddon now is our time and the war between our yin and our yang, the materialistic white, or the one love of the black, the Isis, the mother. So we have to start really seriously thinking about what we're going to let go materialistically. So that comes with everything that we discuss, everything that we allow in, because the they is us. And every one of us, every you, every sun that's in the boat of Ra, must now make a decision. This is judgment day, judgment season is what we call it. So
okay, Claudio, can I just? I really don't want to interrupt. Yeah.
Can I tell you just one thing? I don't know whether it's on my iPad, but I can hear the hissing coming through. Does everybody else hear it, or is it just on my iPad? I want to make sure.
Just on your iPad, I can't hear it.
No, you won't. It's coming from you. It's coming from your microphone. I just want to ask. I don't want people to. Can anybody else hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Nigel just mutes for 1 second. We'll be able to tell if it's from him.
Nigel, mute yourself for a minute.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, it is him. Nigel, when you're not talking, it's best to mute because it comes out on the Hangout.
Okay.
Sorry about that. But carry on. When you're not talking, just mute yourself for a minute. Yeah, but carry on.
Okay. Claudio, I want to ask you a question, and I really, really value your what you think. Now, for the last God knows how many years, December 21 has always been, something's going to happen on the winter solstice, and nothing has happened. And there's a lot of people this year talking about the winter solstice, December 21. And there's a lot of people going, well, hang on a minute, nothing's ever happened in the past, so why should something happen this year? What are your thoughts on December 21 this year?
Yeah, we made a video on that. So Mars meets with Eris on the 22nd. So when Mars, who just went retrograde in Pisces, that means, and she's the one that's redshifted, so she's the one that'll light the fire under our ass that's going to test us. She is the Armageddon. She is the war, the warrior. In other words, she makes the war in our head light up. In other words, we're now going to be tested for materialism. So she meets with Eris. This is not, people don't follow this. She meets with the mother of all mothers. She meets with Isis on the 22nd. On January the 11th, Eris goes direct. She goes direct every year on January 11th. She marks the calendar year, which is really cool. So it's when she goes direct in Pisces, because she's retrograde right now, then we really, really, really got to let go of materialistic things. That's why we have in the new year, you make a New Year's resolution. That's because Mama Eris is going direct again. When she goes retrograde, you got to go within, think about what all the things you should be doing, naughty or nice, Santa Claus, and then going direct. So we've been practicing, and all the things that we've had in church, we're practicing for this major event that's upon us now. So 100% December the 22nd, our video is called The Scrooge. So many people are going to get Christmas past, present, and future coming to visit them But it's not going to be a spirit coming for some people. It might, maybe if you're a real big profit monger, like some of the politicians, maybe they will get an image vision. But me, my wife, many people, we're getting flashbacks of the past. Why? Well, because we've got to cleanse those. The cleansing of those past images that aren't.
Well, I just want to throw something at Karen here, because you mentioned January the 11th. Karen, that's 111. What were you and I talking about the other day? Oh, 111.
That's because it's my son's birthday that day, my youngest son's.
No, but it's also your birthday. When you add up the numbers, it breaks down to 111.
That's right, yeah, okay.
James, I'm going to let you
that.
jump in now, brother.
Well,
me or James?
He said James. James's turn.
okay.
Yeah, okay, James, welcome.
So,
I can show you, I don't really want to touch on this topic too much, but if you want, I think those dates are very important, and I totally agree about 2024. We're in the midpoint, or coming up to the midpoint of the 7 years of hell. But Claudio, you said about Eris. I would look closely, I think, is it Philadelphia? With what's going on with a Camilla, which was probably a Malcolm at one time. And there's a sort of a reverse mirror version of the as above, so below, what's being played out in the material world being shown to us, I think you find right there.
that was short and sweet, James.
Well, I thought...
Yeah, James, everybody is going through this Armageddon. So every walk of life will be going through something. And also the they is every one of us is also trying. So every one of us is trying to make pixels right now. So there's people that are trying to get clickbaits, sharing. They don't care if it's true or not. Just like the media. The media went from the TV and now it's on YouTube and Facebook. The newscasters won't get paid. They get measured by how many clicks they get. So just like a policeman got to get his quota with tickets, they got to get hits on their channels. And the more hits you get, the more you'll make. So they're going through their Armageddon. So when I see people like that going through that, whether the person's sending it, making it up, I don't know. It's not our life per se. If we're seeing that image, we're seeing it for a reason, but then we should be looking at that and going, that poor brother or that poor sister, whoever it may be, they're really going through some not good times right now. I pray for them because it's upon us. And from now to 2024, we're getting a work hardening. And I have friends and relatives and acquaintances that you can see the tests. Some share with me what they're doing that's not good and why they got the test. And they 100% now see, I get it. Thank you very much. It's happening to me. It's happening over and over again. I get it. And then it stops. See, when you bump your finger, that was that predetermined path, but it might have been not as good as that. It might have been something way more not good than just bumping your finger. So every one of us is on that test right now. And we're all going to be tested with images coming across our screen. What are we going to do with them? If you let them in, you're letting materialism in. So I get it, brother. James, there's all kinds of people out there that are going through their own things, whether they're doing it intentionally or not. I truly think it's just that that kind of thing sells. Truth and love doesn't, because it can't. It can't sell. It does. It should never sell.
Claudio, you said basically this is about us waking up. This is about this whole period of time now is for the people to wake up, go in themselves, and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Age of Aquarius. I mean, it's predestined, predetermined. It's on a clock. It's on a watch. You can't deny it. You can't. It's there. Like all the work that we've done, it's like we can prove it astrologically, put it up against the Dendra zodiac, and then also put it up against the repeating circles, the repeating 60 numbers, the Da Vinci Code that wraps around beautifully around the zodiac. So it's upon us, and we're blessed with the breadcrumbs they left behind for us. That's why I use the word us and we, because none of our thoughts are ours. We get them from somewhere else. So 100%. Sorry,
Can
I'm
I
not
ask
sure
you
if you guys can
something?
hear that, but
Nigel won't have seen. Nigel won't have seen your wheel. Would you, in a little bit later on, show him your wheel with all the dates on it?
sure thing.
That'd be great. But can I just ask something here? And this is maybe this is on a bit more of a personal level. But Karen, did you just tell me that your son's birthday is January 11th?
Yeah, my youngest son is January the 11th.
Right. Well, my first son was born on 11/11, and you know that my number is 11. And I told you the other day that your birthday equates to 111. And now you're telling me that your son was born on 111. And then Claudio's saying that all this stuff is predestined. It's all written. It's all scripted. And this is what I've been trying to get you to understand. Well, I think it's what we both understand. But what I've been trying to point out to you, that everything is scripted. And this whole thing, the way that it's playing out, just to me, is just evidence, total evidence that the whole thing is just, it's all playing out. It's all scripted.
Yeah, we were destined to meet today and have this hangout too.
James, did I answer your question, James? I just want to.
Yeah, shoot.
James?
Oh, sorry.
It's your turn, James.
It is quite literally seeing the bigger picture. Now, it depends on personal taste, but rock music can give you a feel-good factor. Well, we're in a vessel, we're rocked by emotions. But as I said on a video, just look at the yin and yang symbol. You want to see the white and the black. What you can't see, because it's such a fine line and we're walking a fine line, is that thin line that separates the two. Now, it tells you in biblical terms, basically to be like the sun. Now, if you look at the sun, it goes basically between the two tropics. It's a sine wave. It's going up and down. It's going side to side, crossing the equator. And if you then freeze that time, so if you take midday over a whole year, you get the analema, the 8. Now we've got the 8 in our body, in our hips. We've got the place of the sun inside us. The thing about the whole thing about these 666 and where that comes in so much, we've got 6 energy centers, those 6 chakras. The 7th one is the crown, which is outside the body. So they want you to, well, with Christians are basically crossing themselves when they do that cross symbol, because the body is the cross. So the answers are all there. It's the way I do it, and you'll probably get people say this if you try and explain things to them. A common saying is, I don't buy it. But at the same time, you don't want to physically sell out, because there's a duality to this, but you do want to turn yourself internally, and you remind yourself. It's just like clay. You go down into the potter's house in Isaiah, you remold the clay, you change your mindset. That's what one of the 3 R's they don't teach you in school. Repentance is not going around and being, oh, I'm sorry that happened and pity me and all this. It's about changing state of mind, so you see things in a different way. a perfect example will be a text message. Now, you can read a text message and you think, oh, that person's being really aggressive. But if you heard them speak it, it would come across in a very different way. So we have to be the observer and not react to things. We're students, teachers, and observers. We are a 3-in-1. Anyway,
James, you've hit the nail on the head there, because the amount of times I've sent an email to somebody and I've had a real barrage of abuse, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute, I didn't mean it that way. It's just words on a screen, so there's no intonation, there's no laughing, joking, and you just read the words on the screen. And this is something that we have to be mindful of, and we have to think about when we send text messages or we send emails, that the recipient is just basically going to see words on a screen. There's no intonation, there's no inflection, there's nothing. It's just simply words on the screen. So you're absolutely spot on there, bro.
Well, they've taken it a step further. They're not just lying to your vision. They've now taken away the feeling. And that is the big key to this. Because I thought, this seems a bit of an unfair, heavily stacked against us battle. And it's like, well, I ain't going to win this physically. What else have I got at my disposal? I've got my imagination. I can look at things, and it's like, well, you want to sell your house, you've got to present it in a certain way. It's the same with clothes. I mean, how many people have you heard say, oh, I wouldn't be seen dead in that, because it doesn't appeal to them, so they're not going to buy that. It's like, it's the way you put things across as much as anything else, because we're a present, so we present ourselves as a gift. So just say to people, well, I'm a bit confused about, or whatever the subject is, and what do you think? If they feel like they're in control, they're happy. Because the other thing to remember, most people might be wondering what's going on, confused, believing one thing or another. You burst that reality bubble for them. You're dropping them in the middle of a very cold Atlantic Ocean. I mean, the script goes to quite literally Titanic proportions, the depths that they will sink to the point where we basically live in a reality where you could shoot people at point blank range onto a canvas, put it in the Tate Modern, exhibit it as art, and make people pay to see it. This is the mentality of the opposite mirror, the opposite of the unconditional love. But we are a firmament. It's about robbing Peter to pay Paul. Now, Peter is Petra, which is rock. You build on a firm foundation of unconditional love. The opposite of that is to build on a foundation of lies. So this is why it's rob Peter to pay Paul. So, and look where you've got St. Paul's and what that's associated with. So I yield there.
Well, you've also got the Paul, Saul of Tarsus in the New Testament, who was a complete fraud, absolute fraud. You've only got to look at the contradictions that between him and the biblical Jesus, for argument's sake. But what I'd like to do, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to share a 21-second video. I'm not sure if Karen's seen it yet, because she just got up, before we started the podcast.
Sorry, I haven't.
No, it's okay. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to show a 21-second video that essentially highlights exactly what James has so eloquently spoken about. Are you guys happy with that?
Let her rip.
Yeah.
So you're breaking up now? What?
Yeah, that's the bandwidth. That's going to be the bandwidth. But just sit back and watch this. I called it reality.
I've seen that. 1 minute. It's not. Hang on 1 second. Let me put the video up. Hang on. Right, it's up now. We can't hear it.
Okay, here we go. Well, it doesn't really matter whether you can hear it. I mean, I can talk over it.
Go on then.
He says you can't believe anything you see, like his glasses are not real. His face is not real. He's got a pen in his hand that's not real. The background's not real. Have a good night. Now, you know, all that has shown is that everything we see on the TV, everything we think we believe, is just, it's all plastic. I call it the plastic realm because plastic is not real. It's just all BS. It's all nonsense. And I put that up on my channel tonight, and the amount of comments that I've got that have just gone, wow, 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 wow. When I see this, what can I believe on the TV? And I'm like, well, you can't believe anything you see on the TV. Because this whole reality is fake.
What was it that Sarah Connor said to Carl Reese when he came back to the motel? She said, "What's for dinner tonight?" And he said, "Plastique."
Yeah, plastic.
Yeah. We won't believe it. We've been going for 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm not saying end it just now, but I wondered, you three understand what's going on, and I know a lot of people do understand, but I just wondered, I would like Claudio to show the wheel, because your star wheel, well, your date wheel, at some point before we finish. But I just wondered, what does mankind do now then? James?
Okay, so
You've got an Old Testament and a New Testament. It's tests on the mind. It's having that inner strength. So no matter what the outside world is being shown to you, because the secret is in the feeling. If you want world peace, your unconscious, which is what reality is created from, and this is provable with a double slit experiment, in that the behavior changes in those photons between whether they're being observed or not observed. We do literally create reality. This is what the media, that their medium is all about. It's suggestions. They put things out there.
James, can I, James, sorry mate, but can I just throw something in here? I don't want to be rude, but I just think it's the right time. If people who are listening to this podcast have not seen the double slit experiment, just go to YouTube, guys, and just type in double slit experiment, and it will absolutely blow you away. And that's what James is talking about. So if you haven't seen it, please go and have a look. It's only a couple of minutes, but it will blow your mind.
I think if I remember rightly, I started on the playlists on my channel. There's a Greg Braden one on there, and it takes that a step further with, I think it's photos. When you take everything out, you're still left with the light photons, and even in a vacuum. Now they will behave randomly, but they put human DNA in with it, and then these photons then started to form into basically what is like the double helix. The scientific proof, this is the thing with all of this, whatever way you look at it, when you find that the things all start clicking in and they're all confirming each other, then it's like, oh, and it's like, if you get a video taken down, you're on the right track. Take it as a compliment. Don't take it as a negative. Take it as a positive. The ultimate, all of us could all have, is to lose all our subscribers, because it's like, whatever level we're at, we've taken people as far as we can go. Our job is done from that point of view. So that will be the greatest compliment, to actually lose all your subscribers, because this is a duality reality. So everything that appears to be good is bad. Everything that's black is white, and so on. This is repeated over and over. The duality, the red-blue shift, the blue shift, all these things, the sine wave. what's happening in that outside reality. You take away a lockdown, there's a bit of summer. Now we go into the fall, into the autumn, there's less light, it's getting colder, so you bring it back. There's your second wave. It's a flood of information. If you've got dry land, like I said, and you build a cast L, then you've got a moat. Now we've got remote control. This technology can be manipulated so easily. You're going through a central thing, like I'm talking here, anybody who's listening, it's going through something else that can either censor it, block it out completely, or probably change the words. There's nothing to say. I don't know, say somebody in South America, this might have a completely different voiceover with it, because I'm not on the screen, so they can put anything.
James, you never, ever, ever cease to blow me away. You never cease to blow me away. And Karen, please put James's a link to James's channel in this, in the description below, because he never ever ceases to blow me away. I thought I was onto pretty much everything, but James just puts the whole thing on a completely different level. Mate, I can't thank you enough. Absolutely awesome the way that you see everything.
I'll let you into a little trade secret. You've probably seen the Anunnaki depictions and those plants. Something that should be growing quite naturally anywhere on Earth, which is made illegal. Or, well, some places it's been legalized now, but that's going to be a processed version, and you have to see the cess in the process. But it provides a thing called DMT. Now, you'll see this on lots of films. When somebody's shot, or they're going to bury, when somebody dies, they always close the eyes. You'll find that the eyes always go up and go cross-eyed because the brain starts to flood itself with DMT. So there's another reference to talking from behind the burning bush. And this is pretty good what I've got right now.
Wow. Go on, give us more.
Well, it's all about know thyself, isn't it? Knowing what we are. I don't agree with the term third eye. That's our first eye. But the true sight is feeling. Because never mind, like I said, never mind if the tree makes a sound, if nobody hears it. What if you're in communication with all of nature and you'll feel it? You haven't got to be near it, or you haven't got to hear it. The secret is in the feeling, which is what Neville Goddard says. And I would recommend just go on, just type in Neville Goddard, and his name basically means no evil. Now, Goddard, everybody's pointed to, oh, he's got God in his surname, but Dard comes from the French, which is dart. What does a dart do? It goes straight to the point. I talk to him. I hear his voice in my imagination. It's like, yeah, he had the birth from above. I've had the first experience of it. We're basically the creator pushed out. We're the spines. We don't realize what we are. You got to look both ways. It's all about remembering who you are. Well, you think like a child. What does a child do? They play, they use their imagination, they become that thing that they're playing with. The creator has fallen asleep in its own creation. We're in a dream within a dream. That's why we are in 2 days.
You really can't imagine how much your words right now resonate with me and also resonate with Karen. And she's really gone quiet on us right now. But I know for a fact, because of the conversations that Karen and I have had privately, that I absolutely know, I understand how much your words resonate with her just as much as they do with me. And thank you. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. When Karen said to me we were going to do this podcast with Claudio and James, I never, ever thought for a second that it would be you. And I am so proud and I am so honoured to be on a podcast with you, my friend, because I love you. Everything that you say resonates with me. And I know for a fact it resonates with Karen. So, thank you so much for all you do, bro. Words can't express, and I mean that.
The one thing they've done, though, and we've talked about in things, is that they've made sure that we feel really small and that it's nothing to do with us when it's actually the other way round.
Well, there you go. Look in the mirror. If they're showing you that, what's the opposite? If they're trying to tell us we're really small, look at what happens. There's a script being played out. So obviously they're lacking in the ability to create something new. What have we got? We've got imagination. We were created not in the image of God, in the imagination, because there are no nations except imagination. Think outside the cube, think outside the box.
You are so right there, James.
Thank you.
As I say, Karen and I, over the last couple of weeks, we've had so many private conversations. When I say private, I mean just, not recorded or put on a podcast, that have gone on for 6, 7, 8 hours. She's kept me up till 4 a.m, so I'll keep her up till 4 a.m. And I don't mean that the way that it sounds, but that's really how it's happened. And we're basically talking about the same stuff that you're putting out. And it totally resonates with me. It totally resonates with Karen, and we kind of totally resonate with each other on such a higher frequency, a higher level. That the whole thing, everything that you're laying down, and I mean everything that you're laying down, basically we're picking up, both of us, and we can both see it. Karen's picking up what I'm putting down, and I'm picking up what she's putting down, and the whole thing is coming together on such a profound level. And then what we try and do is we put these podcasts together. We're going to resonate with the people that understand. We're resonating. We're preaching to the choir, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
A lot of the quote unquote normies are just going to listen to this and switch it off halfway through because they're going to think we're complete idiots. But we're actually the opposite of that. We actually know what we're talking about. We resonate with each other. We understand, understand each other. And that's what makes the relationship between me and Karen, on a personal level, as powerful as it is.
Can I ask you and Karen a more personal question about how you feel each other? Are you happy to say publicly?
I'm happy.
On, what's your question?
Well, I don't know how many times in the sense of numbers it's got to be shown to you, because I can feel it and I can see it and I can see why this has happened. You've both been shown 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. It's telling you are one. You are meant to be together.
That is exactly what I've been trying to tell her. Now, I'm gonna share a bit of personal information. Karen knows this because we spoke about it. My birthday is the 1st of October, so 1-1. And it was only once I woke up, quote unquote woke up, that I could see the relevance of that and how many times, like just for argument's sake, my now ex-wife, we got married on the 29th to in 1911. The first house we bought was 11911. Our son was born on the 29th. I could go on and on and on. And where I am right now in China, I teach English in a high school. I was here for 2 years. And I came to the end of my contract and I'm bored. I really am bored because I'm the only foreigner in this town. And I've got so much time to do research and so on and so forth that I was asking the question in my mind when it came to the end of my contract, shall I sign for another 2 years? And don't forget 2 in Roman is 1-1. Or shall I go somewhere else? And I went to the supermarket to pick some stuff up, and I was buying, fruit and vegetables and all kinds of things that have got to be weighed, so they don't actually have a price on them. And I got to the checkout, and let's forget the currency, but the bill was 111.11. And I was blown away. I've still got the receipt. I never keep receipts, but I kept it. About a week later, I went to the other supermarket in this one-horse town, did the same thing, and my bill was 110.10. And I'm like, whoa. So I was kind of asking the question, should I stay or should I go? And when I had those 2 receipts, I signed up for another 2 years. And then, very, very recently, Karen comes along. Oh, sorry. By the way, I think I said earlier, my first child was born on 11/11. Then Karen and I meet each other after all these years, and it turns out that when we do the numerology on her birthday, it's 111. And she's just told me tonight that her son was born on 1/11, 11th of January. And I'm kind of going, well, this is meant to be. These are the signs. These are the things that are put in front of us to kind of say, wake up, wake up. This is what it's supposed to be.
Well, Claudio,
what do you think about that, James?
Well, Claudio mentioned about the age of Aquarius, March the 20th, 2020. Well, we're showing it as so many times as 322, but it comes back to this thing. You're just going to keep getting shown things over and over until you get it, and knowing how everything is twisted. Now, if you look at a prison, the bars are vertical. Our bars are our rib cage. We're trapped within these physical vessels. Our analema is our hip, so the 8 is on its side within us. The sun goes across horizontally across the sky, as it were, but the sun inside us has to rise, has to go vertically. They've flipped everything. A lot of the old maps are showing the top of the map was orientated east, which has now been shifted to north. But you've got empowerment, enlightenment. The letter N, you can spell it as E-N, it's energy, and N, as I've said so many times in videos, it is Lord. If you look at the capital letter, it rises, it falls, goes to the right and rises. It's doing the sine wave again. Everything does. Look at a heart monitor. It's a sine wave. It moves like a serpent. Seeing both sides all the time. Look forward, look back. Be Janus, the two-headed God with the two-faced God, because we can be good or bad. We've got that free will.
Wow. But the other thing, and I told Karen this personally, and I mean, Karen being a typical girl, she's not kind of into numbers or gematria or whatever, but my name Nigel in gematria is 11. My middle name is Paul. Nigel Paul in reverse gematria is 11. My full name, which is Nigel Paul Worsley, is 11 in gematria. And my birthday is October 1, 11. The first child that came along in my life, my firstborn was 11/11. Well, but I didn't know any of that at the time. I didn't realize any of that at the time. And then, Karen comes along and her birthday is June the 14th, which is 11. 1963, which works out to 10, drop the 0, becomes a 1. So her birthday is 111. And then she's just told me tonight that her son was born on 111. Well, how many more coincidences or how many more connections do we actually need, or do we actually need to realize when those connections are not coming from the earthly, they're not coming from this realm, they're coming from our higher self, they're coming from our guardian angel, if you want to call it that, coming from God, whatever you want to call it. But once you have all these connections, then you can't just put it down to coincidence, especially when, Karen and I, just for argument's sake, have got so many connections on the spiritual. We understand each other when it comes to this realm and what it is, and so on and so forth, which is why we spend so many hours talking to each other. I go to bed, I get up, talk to her until she gets to bed, and then when she gets up, we're back online and we're talking again. And this has been going on now for nearly 2 weeks. So it's not by coincidence. This is all meant to be. This is why we were talking about that movie, The Adjustment Bureau, and how everything is trying to stop us. Karen's got Skype. I've had Skype for years. We can't connect on Skype. The Adjustment Bureau, mate, you got to watch it. It's off the charts.
Adjustment is right. They've adjusted the maps. They've adjusted everything.
They've adjusted everything. I can't, because of where I am. Because of where I am, I can't get Instagram. I can't get Facebook, and I can't get this, that, and the other. But the main app that we use in China is called WeChat. So Karen downloaded WeChat. Can she connect with me? Not a chance. So we can't connect on WeChat. We can't connect on Skype, even though we both had Skype for years. The only way that we can connect is on Hangout by email or by text message, because, obviously we've got each other's phone number. But there's just so many obstacles being put in our way when we have so many connections.
You know why?
Go on.
There's always something in the physical that is also something that is in the unseen as well. Don't forget, you've got the Great Wall of China. It's a firewall.
Yeah, but that's why I use a, as I said, just take the first letter of each word. That's why you use a very pink nipple, because that basically hops over. Yeah. I'm talking to you now from Hong Kong. I can talk to you from Singapore. I can talk to you from Japan. So yeah, we can get past that, what you're talking about. But essentially, once I use the very pink nipple, it shouldn't stop me and Karen connecting on WeChat or Skype or any other form of social media. So what we've had to do, we've had to make sure that we've got the ability to email each other. And if the internet goes down, well, at least I can text her and she can text me. But that's really all we've got. We have tried to connect on other forms of quote unquote social media, and we just can't do it. The system will not allow us to do it. James, if you've got Skype and you send me your Skype, you and I can connect on Skype. Claudio could do the same thing, but Karen can't. We can't connect on Skype.
A lot of this whole system works on voice recognition, and I've noticed, it comes back to how many times do you need to see it. I've had conversations with people, video calls with people, and as soon as you mention certain subjects, we could talk about the Middle East and Israel lies, for example. But if I said it a different way, it might sort of start distorting the signal. Yeah, I think you get the picture.
Yeah, I get the picture, but I think the common thread, when Karen put that and she spent 11 and a half hours, bless her, love her to bits, and she was so determined to get that video put out today, and she did, and she literally burned herself out. That's why she was an hour late coming on here. But it's so powerful, and both Karen and I see it that it's like the whole system, the whole Adjustment Bureau, it seems to be doing everything it can to prevent Karen and I from, you know, coming together. I won't say getting together, I'll say coming together. You know, she should have been on a plane a week ago, coming over here, but she can't because they're in lockdown. And now China's gone into lockdown, as she warned me it would, but not in the same way. They've just said that if you're a Chinese citizen, you can't leave the country. But if you're a Chinese citizen outside the country, well, you're welcome to come home, but once you get here, you can't go out again. So just every way we go, everything we look at, every turn, we're blocked, we're blocked, we're blocked. You know, so we've only got what we've got, which just happens to be the Hangouts.
The system will do all it can. This is part of the test. It's like it's trying to generate negative feelings because that's what it's feeding on. If you're getting annoyed and upset with it, that's just what it wants. That's what everything is designed to do. It's like with what goes on out there, they give you something good, but then they take it away again. And it's like, well, we'll pay you wages, but now we'll claw a lot of it in tax. So
I totally agree. I totally agree. But like I was trying to explain to Karen, and she kind of gets it now, that when she did that beautiful, wonderful video about the movie Adjustment Bureau, the truth drops are so important. And it's like, you can do whatever you want to do, but you are not going to stop what is going to happen. You're not going to beat us. And I know that Karen feels exactly the same way. And these pricks, these bastards, they can do whatever they want to do to try and stop Karen and I from coming together and having a loving relationship and spending the rest of our lives together. They can do whatever they want to do, but it ain't going to they ain't going to stop us. It ain't going to happen. Exactly as the plot line or the storyline in the Adjustment Bureau depicts. It ain't going to happen because me and her and our relationship is so much stronger than what they think they can do to us. Well, fucking bring it on. You're not going to stop it. It's going to happen. End of story. Am I right, Karen?
Well, yes, Nigel. Yes,
Well,
Nigel.
I was going to say the
You see
same.
how enthusiastic she sounds, James?
Yeah.
She sounds so enthusiastic. She's just agreeing with me.
It's not used so much these days, but certainly in the, I suppose, the 60s, 50s and 40s, you'd hear people say, yeah, that's the spirit. So having that resolve is spot on because it's like, we're stronger than this. All these silly little attempts to try and throw us off, give us those negative feelings, get annoyed, get angry. It's like, no, we're better than that. We rise above it. It's walking on the water. That's what's been shown. This is all we need to do. There's no physical fighting. You don't fight fire with fire.
No, I totally agree with you. And I don't get angry. I might get a little bit pissed off. I might get a little bit upset. Might get a little bit agitated. But I don't get angry. I don't get angry, and because I'm just like, well, do your worst, bro. Do whatever you think you can do, but you're not going to stop me and Karen from doing what we are destined to do. And I don't think anything's going to stop her from pursuing that same avenue. Am I right, Karen?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
Oh, there you go, James.
It broke up a bit.
Yeah, typical wife, you see. She wasn't listening to me. What I was saying, darling, is that nothing is going to stop you and I getting together and being happy, and they can throw anything they want at us. Nothing's going to work. It's basically what I was saying.
That is the perfect resolve to have to get through all of this. It's always pushed out about spiritual war and all this. I mean, it's even right down to being in 3 dimensions. We're actually, I suppose, more accurately, we're in 3.5 dimensions, because a dimension, by definition, is a measurement where you've got the 3 dimensions, but we see a snapshot of a 4th dimension, which is time. We see each of us in the physical vessels in a blink of an eye, and it's again, it's that saying, when somebody gets it, they say, "Oh, I see," or "I hear you now," or "I get it." It's all in the really common sayings.
Hello, James?
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't know what happened. I muted just then. But...
Oh, is Nigel there? Have we lost Nigel? I think we've just lost Nigel. That's what happened. He'll be back in a second. Claudio, do you want to get your...
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, I'm muted. I was kind of asking you to comment on what I just said about you and I.
Okay, it's very lovely, Nigel. Thank you very much. I'm not used to having someone in the Hangout going on about me. I'm usually waiting to go on about the people on the Hangout. Thank you so much for that, Nigel.
No, I was just waiting for you to... I was kind of waiting for you to either agree or disagree with what I just said to James.
No, it has been really difficult. I think the Hangout is something that we set up before we liked each other, so that's okay. We can get there on Hangout, on the other things afterwards, and quite often cuts Nigel off. So every time he says something that's whatever, then they cut him off.
Yeah. Every time I touch on a certain subject, I seem to get cut off. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for that, Nigel.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we talk all the time. Claudio, have you got your wheel ready to show Nigel? Because I think he'll be a bit blown by that if he hasn't seen it.
Sure can. It might take a little bit to go through it, though. Do we got time?
Oh, that's fine if you don't mind. I think Nigel will really like it.
I don't mind. Not at all.
Okay, then.
Bring it on. Let me see it, please. And then I got James. Yeah, I will. James, I got so much things that I would like to just thank you for all what you've been talking about. I had a couple of notes that I could talk about, but maybe we'll see if we have time. But I just want to say thank you, brother, as always, man. I love what you do. So, Nigel, it's all three of us. We love what James does, and the way he articulates is just second to none. I mean, he's a man of words. He's got that pillow talk voice that can just lull you into a beautiful, beautiful state. So
I think there's actually another meaning.
I love you.
I think there's another meaning when you say James is a man of words, because I love to listen to his stuff because he talks about words, and he constantly blows me away with the
100%.
The meaning of words that I don't see.
100%. Absolutely. So,
sorry, like I say, we've got, there's so many beautiful channels out there. The conspiracy channels have taken a knock. Some, it's spreading the negative stuff, but you've got some channels, they stay within confines, and they're sort of specialists. We need those as much as anything else. It's all ingredients into a big cake, really. I mean, Karen, what you show is phenomenal. The hours you put in, the dedication, and I can see a sun wheel, a swastika. Anyway, I shut up.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. You guys ready? You want me to go through it? Stop me if you have any questions.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, go for it, bro. Go for it, please.
Okay, so
Yeah, show
gonna
them,
start off with-
Claudio.
so I'm gonna start off with the metaphysics behind it. You guys see the 011?
Yep, I can see the 0 on 1. Yep.
Okay, so this is the beginning of the Fibonacci golden ratio numbers, okay? This wraps around when you only take the last number of the Fibonacci sequence and it repeats every 60. So this is the Da Vinci Code. This was, we found this from a sax player, but they didn't do it like this. They didn't throw it on the zodiac. It's just this is a circle of fifths that you can use because music lies on here. Everything lies on here. So the 0 is the Godhead. This is the Trinity. 0. Then the 1, the first one is the yin. That's the collective consciousness. That's the one love. And then the second one is the yang, which is now our embodiment. All right. And you'll see all this on the addendra as well, which is beautiful. So there's your yin and your yang. So there's your 0, 1, 1. So when you keep taking all the numbers, 0 plus 1 gives you 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. You keep going, right? 2 plus 3, 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. Just keep the 3. See, this is where numerology takes a turn towards spirit, because there's only 9 numbers and source, which is the 0, no thing, right? No thing, no manifest. So if you keep going, 8 plus 3 is 11, 1. So you just wrap that all the way around. Well, you'll start seeing some interesting things happening. Well, there's only 4 zeros, and that's on the cross. You have 1 at the 0 point of Aries, A, the alpha, arise, you're in manifest. That's when you're going in this direction, you're in manifest. I'm just going to change my cursor size here so I can make sure that I'm being followed. Hang on 1 second, please. Oh, wrong one. Cursor. There we go. So you'll also notice that, so there's a 0 here at the alpha. There's a 0 here at the top as above. There's a 0 here over here at the omega. And there's a 0 over here at the domain of Horus, the as below. All right. So you also notice that, and I'll get to all the other meanings there. You also notice that on every fifth is a 5. 5, 5. Well, 5 plus 0, 5, 5, 0. And it wraps around with the 5. So there's 12 5s. So it maps out the zodiac, 12 of 30 degrees. All right. So on every zodiac, every age, there's a 5, which is the pentagram, which is the pentastar. That's when we go through shifts. Okay. Now you'll also notice on the alpha, you got 1011 is the beginning. 7077. 9099. 3033. Well, now you got the swastika. That's what the swastika means. This is the knowledge of the swastika. This is pointing you to go look at the dendra, go look at numerology in the dendra and in the circle of 60. Everything grows in the Fibonacci spiral. We know that. Everything comes out of manifest. And really there's only 2 dimensions, as Ken Wheeler puts it, which makes sense. There's one out and there's one in, because the one that comes out only comes out in Fibonacci. And when I say Fibonacci, I just say that it's easier to say than golden ratio, but that's what I mean when I say that. So this maps out your whole walk path of life. I'm going to switch now over to the Dendra Zodiac. So as you can see here, when you wrap those numbers around, the Zodiac, the Dendra Zodiac, many people, they don't have it. They have it rotated, flipped the wrong direction. When you put it in this direction, you can see embodiment here. Do you see this body with no head? That's embodiment, the eye of Horus.
Yeah, I see it. I see it, no head.
Right. And now, if you look, Tesla's 369 is here, 303369. Okay? You'll notice that the 369 sits at Apex, the snake, the vibration, the box. This is where you're getting ready. This is where your vibration is, part of your Akashic records. All right? I'm going to head back to here, because you see the 369. That's 8. These are each 60. These are each 6 degrees. So that's 18 degrees away. That's the Great Pyramid is 18 degrees from true north. So this lines up, the 3, 6, and the 9 lines up with the Great Pyramid. in Egypt. This is also the Milky Way. This is also the river of heaven, okay, lies along this path, which is Sagittarius and Gemini, where you get twinned. You twin, right? Here's your yin and your yang, then you get twinned, then you go to Taurus. This is the mother bull. So the circle of 60 represents your whole walk path in life. This is why you had Romans, an R with a mona. Well, let me get back to that. So when you wrap the alphabet around it, the alpha beta, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all the way around. When you get to L, the M and the N, there's your moon key in middle, and the O, there's your Mona Lisa, okay? Mona, many people have done it, like many people have different ways of doing this, but everybody doesn't put anything in the middle. Well, how can you forget the point in the middle? That's why there's 13 and 13, as above, so below. Moving on, you got the Wizard of Oz. The Oz is the below, see it? O to Z. So when you wrap the letter in the alphabet around it, you get the Mona. Well, then there's the Romans with an R. There's the Monads with an M. Omnia, omnipresent. Omnipresent, the alpha is the I. All right, the throne is the 8th. The J, the flip mirror is right next to each other. There are only 2 letters with a dot on top. These are glyphs. The throne is our infinite. If you look in the Dendra, you see the queen sitting on a throne, bringing the baby into this realm. So all this circle of 60 is definitely the Da Vinci Code, the code that leads us to the Holy Grail, which is the Madonna, which is Eris, which is Isis, which is about to come and grab us, the sun.
Wow.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Wow. Wow. That all makes so much sense.
Right.
It really
so
does.
Look at the color of numbers. Look at the color of numbers that Matt Jerome taught me. 147, 258, 369. Here's the 369. You won't find the 369 anywhere else. There's the 147. You won't find 1, 4, and 7 anywhere else on here. Then you got your 258 and your 852 across from each other. These are all showing gates. They're showing all sorts of things on here. And it's not they, it's the spirit showing us. This is undeniable.
Well, there is no they. I mean, I know for a fact that all this is going straight over Karen's head. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. But, you know, it's kind of you either get it or you don't. And even if you don't, it doesn't matter. If I get it and she doesn't, well, you know, I can still try and get her to explain, get her to understand it on a different level. But yeah, this is just blowing me away, bro.
Yeah, this is where like I said, I'm not articulate. Like I'm more of a science guy, astrologer type, right? I know by just looking at my past that that's what I was destined to do. And guys like James will be the guys that will be like teaching people that when his own words, it will sink in. He's very articulate. I'm not. I mean, English was my second language. Go figure, right? So this is the root of all the roots. And this is where we're focusing our study, because we like the stuff that's undeniable, right to the core. And thanks to Ken Wheeler teaching metaphysics, this all 100% fits.
What's your first language, Claudia?
Italian. Yeah, so Italian. My parents were both born in Italy, and they came across. I was born in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, but they didn't speak a word of English at home. When I went to school, I couldn't speak a word of English, and then when I got home, they decided they're going to only speak English to help us out. So I was stuck between 2 places, didn't understand a word. So that's why.
No, sorry, I didn't.
English 3 times.
I didn't hear you. You said English is your second language. So what's your first language?
Oh yeah, I said it. Italian. Italian. Did you get it?
Oh, okay. Okay. No, the only reason I ask is that I'm a ESL teacher. I teach English as a second language in China. That's what I do. So, you know, for anybody who can speak a second language as fluently as you do, then my hat's off to you, bro. I really mean that.
Oh, thank you very much. So there is so much in here. I could talk for hours on it. It's incredible. And it's complete alignment with the oldest known Bible in the world called Dendra Zodiac. It's beautiful.
I can see it. I can see it. And you know, the beauty about people like us coming together on a podcast like this is each of us has got something to contribute. You know, Karen's got her contribution. James has got his wonderful contribution. You've got your awesome contribution, and then I've got my contribution. And even though they're all different, the fact that we're all contributing different things, but essentially on the same level, that is the beauty about doing a podcast like this. Even if we have been going for like 2.5 hours, and the problem is when Karen puts this out and I put it out, that people are going, oh my God, it's 2.5 hours. So, you know, they don't. It kind of puts them off, but other people just get hooked.
They don't see the time on a premiere. The premiere just plays.
That's perfectly true, babe.
A lot of people like all this, and all along, you know, right from the beginning when I started getting into Earth and stuff like that, I saw that we're all a jigsaw puzzle. We're all pieces of the puzzle. We've all got to come together.
Absolutely. I mean, like you put this out on a premiere, and you're going to get a lot of people that will watch it. And then when I download it and put it up on my channel, they're going to see the timestamp and they go, oh, it's 2.5 hours. Oh, yeah. I've already had 3 phone calls today going, mate, I love what you and Karen are doing, but, you know, it's too long. No, I can't watch it all in one go. I'm like, oh, fuck you. Watch it in 2 or 3 parts. You know, I don't care, because there's so much information and we have so little time to get this stuff out that people really do need to sit down and listen. You know, it's really not a question of watching it. It's lay on the couch and listen. And when it gets to the point that you got to sit up and watch, well, sit up and watch.
Absolutely agree. I mean, Claudia, I have to disagree with what you said. What you said is so profound. It just flows. It's like, oh, I see missing bits, or what fits in with everything else, like with the 369 thing. How things are orientated and shifted. It's so mind blowing, all of this. But the question comes down to, for all this to be hidden, and whatever the perceived reality, there's nothing else in nature that has to pay to live. Something straight away there says this ain't right, and it just sort of leads on from there. I don't know.
There's hope, brother. That's all. There's hope. There's hope. Mama's back. Mama's back. That's one thing we got to make sure when anybody's listening. Mama's back. It's over. We went through the age of Pisces to get the experience of lack of love, the least amount of love. Look what happens. So don't think you can be on your own because you're tethered. So it's a beautiful experience to know what it's like without love. There can only be love, and the ether is love. And we're going back to one love, the Garden Eden.
Exactly. I
want to throw something in here, which basically just verifies what both of you guys are talking about. Is the experience that Karen and I have been going through for the last couple of weeks. When you talk about unconditional love, when you talk about love on a much, much higher level or a much, much higher frequency, the experience that Karen and I have gone through over the last couple of weeks is literally off the charts, and we've not even met each other. So it's like I was chatting to a mate of mine in California a couple of days ago, and it's not what you are, Nigel, it's who you are. And what Karen and I have been learning about each other and understanding about each other, we've both been learning about who we are. And that is far, far more important than, you know, whether or not she's got a fat ass or whether I've got a small dick. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's all about, you know, who we are deep inside, our spiritual being, whether you want to call it the soul, the spirit, or whatever, is so much more important than, you know, our physical attributes or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. And what Karen and I have been going through is we are learning about each other, we're understanding each other on a spiritual level, on a much, much higher level, so that, you know, when we do meet in the physical, well, you know, who really cares? It's all about who we are, how we connect on that higher level, spiritual, whatever you want to call it. That is far, far more important. And Karen and I have talked about this at length. People meet each other in the pub or the bar or the club or whatever, and they go, oh, you know, she looked quite pretty, and she thinks that you look quite handsome, and you go home and you do the whatever comes necessary, but you don't know anything about each other. You're beginning a relationship that is purely a physical relationship, and you hope that you can get to know each other on the higher level. Whereas what's happening between Karen and me, is we're beginning to understand and know each other on that much higher level. So when we do actually meet in the physical, I already know who she is, and she already knows who I am. And then you've got to put that into some kind of order of importance. And I'd sooner go through what I'm going through with Karen, and she'd sooner go through with what she's going through with me, than bumping into each other in a nightclub or a bar, and starting from that point of view, if that makes sense. So it's a complete reversal. The as above, so below. What do you call it? The black and white, the up and down. You know, we're starting our relationship on a completely different level that most people begin their relationships on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfectly. Again, it's all about mirrors, but the mirrors we're shown are often scrying mirrors. But what about the golden mirror? What about the other side of the golden zone between the two tropics? Because when you've got the light here and the summer, the other side is winter. So though things might seem bad, you know that there's light there somewhere. And this is a wonderful opportunity, because listen to how most people talk. Hi, how are you? What do you do? So straight away there's a judgment on, I mean, somebody says to me, what do you do? I say, I breathe. And they sort of look at me. What they're asking is, what job do you do? Are you a bank manager or whatever, and I can judge you on your income? That's not me. The Matrix shows it with Neo and the spoon. Don't try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. You are not
right,
the spoon.
James, what you're getting down to here is you are a human being. You are a human being. What? I'm a human being, a teacher. You're a human being, whatever it is you are. Karen's a human being, whatever she is. So you have this distortion that a being is a animal, a living, breathing being. But when it gets down to the human being, it's, what are you a human being? I'm a human being, a teacher. I'm a human being, a cleaner. I'm a human being, a CEO. I'm a human being, a president of the USA. However you want to break it down, we're all being something. But we're all human. We're all human. That's the flesh that we were born into. The being has got nothing to do with it. It's all about how much do you earn. Like, you know, there are three questions. You know, I've lived in China for a long time, and I can bump into a complete stranger, And there are 3 questions that they will ask a complete stranger in this order. Nisha Nagaguja, which means where are you from? Which country are you from? Oh, Nida Gongzor Shishimo. What do you do? What's your job? And then they will ask you how much you earn each month. They are the first 3 questions that a total stranger in China will ask you. Where are you from? What's your job? How much do you earn each month? Now, 2 of those questions we might ask a Western person, or we might be, as a Western person, looking at a foreigner in our country. We might say, well, where are you from and what do you do? But we're never, ever, ever going to turn around to them and say, how much do you earn each month? But here in China, that's the 3rd question that they always ask you. So I always lie. You know, I mean, I don't like lying, but I always lie because I know that Chinese people earn much, 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 much less than Western people earn. So I just, you know, I might say, well, guess. And they'll guess and I'll go, yeah, you're spot on, whatever. But that's just how they roll here. It's completely different, completely the opposite to the West. It's crazy.
Sorry, Claudio, what were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. I was just agreeing. And when he said James made a cliche or something, and I said I want to use that one. So that's what I was busting and just saying. Brilliant. And now it escapes me, but it'll come back to me.
Have you finished doing your chart, Claudio?
Yeah, we could leave it at that because we can go in deeper another time if you like.
Okay then, James. What else did you?
Well, connected to that chart, if you look at the symbol for Pisces, it's 2 fish looking in opposite directions in this duality world. Now, if you look at the Aries, it sort of half resembles a Y, which is what we're asking: why are we here? What's our purpose, and so on. It's the big why question. But if you also look at that, it also resembles a V. A V is a Dabad, David. It's a divide. It tells you in the Bible, and there's a double meaning to it. You can be cleaved unto, joined together, or you can be cleaved, as in with a meat cleaver. It's the Grim Reaper that tears the vessel, not physically, I hope, from top to bottom, and it's looking for the light inside. The saying is, you don't allow another to pick up the pen and write your script. You write your own script. Now, what you want to believe in and what you want to take as truth and what you feel about it, you can write yourself life sentence after life sentence, and you will be imprisoned in those horizontal bars of another rib cage. Everything in this realm is all about experience. I can read 400 books on the theory of driving, but I will never have the experience of it until I do it. This is our purpose. We are expressions of the Creator who is gone into his creation or her creation and wants to experience. We are at our most constricted level, which is why we're held in cage. We are an embodiment, or electromagnetic. The mind and the heart, or the brain and the heart. Then you've got body, and then you've got mind. The embodiment, it's the entrapment of the light that we have to find inside ourselves. That's where all the answers are. You go in the darkness, well, there's no light inside of the body physically, but there is a light in there. It's the place of the sun, the solar plexus. That's the power and wisdom of the Christ, the chrism oil inside us that we have to raise up. It's all an internal battle going on. I mean, and I'll give you one example. Sorry, yeah.
James, do you remember the, I think it was the some kind of Greek mythology, which is another rabbit hole, whereas Zeus or maybe somebody else cleaved man in half to split the man and woman, which is why we spend our whole lives looking for our other half, because Zeus or whoever it was cleaved you know, put the axe between the man and woman and made man separate from the woman. So we kind of, this is where we get the other half cliche from. You're the wordsmith, bro. You're the guy that puts all this stuff together. So what do you think about that?
That's spot on. I mean, you can interpret it as divine masculine and divine feminine within one skull. Golgotha is the skull. The creator fell into the dream in Golgotha. It's shown in the Anunnaki. Was it the Gnostic? It's shown as Sophia falls in, and Sophia falls into the dream. Then you've got the demiurge, which would be like Satan comes out of that. It's the same story over and over again, but it's just.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I've been through all the various ancient texts, not only the Bible, but the Popol Vuh and the Sumerian creation story and so on and so forth. But I've actually come to the realization, and I really don't care what other people think, but I've actually come to the realization that Karen is my other half. And I really think that she's come to the realization that I am her other half. You can call it twin flames, you can call it soulmate, you can call it whatever you want. People can put whatever name or whatever cliche they want to put on it. But you know, there's not many people who are, you know, 8 hours apart by the time frame. That both sit talking till 4 o'clock in the morning, whether it be in Karen's UK time or my China time. You know, there's not a lot of people that do it. And the connection that we've got, you know, I'm absolutely 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000% convinced that Karen's my quote-unquote twin flame, quote-unquote other half. And we've gone through this ad nauseum. And she's kind of, even though she won't maybe not admit it here and right now, but she's basically said, yeah, I get that, and I see where you're coming from, and yeah, I kind of get the same thing, I kind of feel the same thing. And that's when I then go back to the contract that we signed to agree to come to this realm in order to help other people, try and help other people wake up and realize that they've got the divine spark. And the reward, you know, the other side of the contract is, well, okay, you know, because we didn't need to come here, we decided to come here, but there had to be something in it for us. You know, I'll do whatever you say, I'll help you out, but kind of what's in it for me? And if I was told, and Karen was told, just for argument's sake, that, okay, well, if you guys agreed to go back and do this and help other people wake up and, you know, so on and so forth, then, you know, I'll make sure that you find your soulmate. I'll make sure you find your twin flames, or your twin flame. And as much as we've gone down that rabbit hole, we can't debunk it. Not that we want to, not that we're trying to, but we're kind of objective people. We're kind of looking at things logically, and we kind of, well, that kind of makes sense. You know, if we were sent here for, I don't know, 90 years, 80 years, or whatever, you know, we're both approaching 60. I mean, I don't mean to be insulting to Karen because she's 57. I'm 59. But, you know, if you get to that point in the contract where you have fulfilled your contract or fulfilled 50% of it, then surely we're entitled to, you know, quote unquote, get paid. And maybe that is the payoff. You know, we came together a couple of weeks ago. Our relationship has just been off the charts, so powerful because we understand each other and on such different levels, and our frequency is the same. We resonate with each other. We understand everything. So, yeah, maybe.
Thank you for that, Nigel. A lot of people don't find the other half, do they, in life?
No, they don't. And look, Karen, don't thank me. Don't thank me, because you've got nothing to thank me for. I'm just speaking what I feel, and this is going to go out to all your subs and all my subs, and
there it is, Nigel.
hopefully,
There it is.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I've got no inhibitions. I really don't care. I'm trying to help other people understand what is basically happening between you and I, why it's happening. James is backing it up. Claudio's backing it up by everything that we presented tonight. And it's kind of a not kind of a love story, but kind of a love story in the same way that the Adjustment Bureau is a love story. It's like nothing is going to stop us from what is going to happen. I don't care about Satan. I don't care about the government. I don't care about the lockdowns. I don't care about the travel bans. I don't care about any of that. Nothing is going to stop the inevitable. Nothing can stop the inevitable. And the Adjustment Bureau movie actually shows that, demonstrates that, proves that. So nothing's going to stop what's going to happen. End of story. And I know for a fact that my friend James, I love him to bits, is going to look at what I've just said to you, and I know for a fact he's going to agree with me. What do you say, James?
I'm going to give you two opposition answers here.
Great, go for it.
The saying is, you need to take a long, long look in the mirror. What you should both be thinking here is the thing that we all curse and swear about, the thing that's given us this technology. Because instead of you being given the normal system thing of you come together in the physically first, you're getting to know each other at the spiritual level first. So it's giving you, see, the sun has a low point, and then when it reaches its lowest point, it can only get it's that saying, when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. You arise.
Yeah.
When you can see it from above, as it were, and see all this shadow world for what it really is, it's all part of this lesson, this game that we're here to experience. It's wonderful.
Thank you, James.
Yeah. Karen, I'll let you answer that first. What do you think?
Well, that's what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, we're all of this same generation, and I know Claudio's not in the UK, but Karen is, I was, and James is. So, do you remember Tony Blair's election song? Things can only get better. D-Ream. Things can only get better. And that's how I feel right now.
Oh,
I did.
I
want to jump in and say, too.
No, I don't want people to say, I just want people to understand and realise that it is possible for two people to meet each other and end up with some kind of unconditional love, a connection on a higher level, when it doesn't boil down to meeting to two people meeting in a bar or a club or whatever, and oh God, I think she's hot, and oh yeah, I think he's handsome, and going home and doing what's natural. Both me and Karen, and I know I speak for her, because we've spoken about this privately so many times. We're on a completely different level. I know for a fact that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with Karen, and she knows for a fact that she's going to spend the rest of her life with me, but we've never actually met physically. It doesn't matter. because I know who she is and she knows who I am. So the rest of it is kind of immaterial. Yeah, sure, it's great if you fancy each other, and we do. We you know, we've had video chats and so on and so forth. So we've got past that. But it really is a case of understanding each other on a higher level, a higher plane, a higher frequency, resonating with each other, understanding each other's wants and needs. You know, and somebody said to me a while ago, what is the definition of love? How can you define love? And I said, okay, well, let's take me and Karen, just for argument's sake. If I put Karen's needs, wants, and desires above my own, and she puts my needs, wants, and desires above her own, then you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Yeah, sure, you can argue about which fucking restaurant you want to go to, and you can argue about what's for dinner, but you know, if I'm in a space and time where all I care about is putting her first, and all she cares about is putting me first, that is the epitome, that is the definition of true love. Because all you want is what is better for your partner. You don't care about what you want. I care more about what she wants, and she cares more about what I want. So all you're going to do is get into a conflict because you're trying to better each other, but then you back down and go, well, look, babe, if that's what you want, then I'll go. And if that's what, and she'll say, well, if that's what you want, then, you know, I'll go along with that. So the epitome of true love, in my opinion, is when you put your partner's needs, wants, and desires above yours, and she puts my needs, wants, and desires above hers. And we kind of understand that. So the Adjustment Bureau can go fuck off. They're not going to win. They're not going to beat us. They're not going to stop what's going to happen. That's it.
Thank you for that, Nigel. I'm not used to putting so much of my life out on a hangout. I'm usually quite a private person on my my platform. But thank you very much for telling everyone, Nigel.
Well, you don't need to thank me. You don't need to thank me. What I'm trying to do, I'm doing my best to try and educate people. I'm trying to do my best to get people to think. And no, I really don't expect you to put your personal life out, because you know, you and I have spoken many, many times on personal hangouts. But I'm at the point now where I really just don't care, because I think we're running out of time, and I genuinely think that people, you know, people listening to this need to understand the true meaning of love. And if that means embarrassing myself in front of my subscribers and your subscribers, well, I'm not embarrassing myself, because I'm just simply wearing my heart on my sleeve exactly the same way that James does. You know, he just doesn't care. He sees something, he understands something, and he puts it out. That's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to get people to understand, you know, my thoughts, my understanding. And if people want to sit there and go, oh, you're a fucking pussy, well, fine. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. You and I have come together online.
Nigel, remember on a hangout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have been going for 2.5 hours now, right? I just wondered whether, I'm sure Nigel would mention me again, but Nigel, you want to say a few words at the end of the hangout? I'll ask James and I'll ask Claudio so that everybody has that to say. But it's the first time people met each other. So, anyway, thank you for those words again, Nigel. Yeah, he makes me a bit speechless sometimes. Do you want to say a few words for the end then? Because obviously you've not met each other. We've done this hangout. I'm sure you'll probably want to come back and have another hangout.
Well, I think we should let James and Claudio finish up this podcast.
Okay then. Well, who wants to go first, James or Claudio?
Yeah, if that's okay, that's very revealing, what's just been said.
Can I just say, Nigel, mute yourself because it's quite fuzzy over the hangout. Nigel? That's it, thank you. Sorry, carry on, James.
Yeah, but I didn't actually answer the question because I said I'd give two opposite answers. Now, this is what the truth really is. Any of us can describe what love is. Any of us can describe any feeling, but the truth is what you feel inside, how you interpret it. It might be very similar pictures, what someone says love is. So in one way we do know, but at the same time we don't really know, because you only know inside how you feel. Now, going on very quickly from that, and this is going to the audience that listen to this. Listen to what Nigel says. Now, how does that make you feel inside? If you haven't got your twin flame or whatever, are you feeling a sort of like a feeling of a wanting for that? Is it bringing up a sort of a jealousy feeling? How are you observe how you're feeling? This is where the mastering of the thoughts comes in, because the thing to feel is happiness for those people, and don't feel it's not going to happen to you. There is no such thing as time. That is just an illusion. This is just a dream. Death is just another form of sleep. You'll just come back and you play this game over and over again. You won't know that you've come back. You've already died, although you're not dead, because of the duality of this. So there is absolutely nothing to fear. We are all God in personalized form. Why would the creator want to hurt itself? Because that's what we're doing. That's what the mirror is showing us. It's getting us to identify as English or American. I mean, let's get these things. I'm tired of saying USA and USSR. That's too much of a mouthful. Let's say them as they really are. It's user, it's user, and it's yuck, and it's the European Union is EU. They're not initials. That's how they should be said. We're all getting used one way or another by this system, but we just have to see through it. See what it's really showing us. It's a mirror perspective. A lot of it. It's like it's like health and safety. Well, whose health and safety? Who's got more to lose here? Who's got more to gain?
Yeah, those are the conditions and things put down by corporations. That's what that is, and we don't like them.
Well, that's
the construct we're putting.
You're being shown what's the opposite of a corporation, because that's dead. Well, you need to put light into it. You are then incorporated into the body, the mind of the creator again. We bring ourselves back as one. That's why we are all one ultimately.
Oh, thank you, James. Have you finished?
James, you have so got this, quote unquote, got this. You often leave me speechless. You're just so on point. You're just so on the fucking money every single time. And I know that you get what I was trying to say about me and Karen and so on and so forth. But you just got it. I take my hat off to you. I really, really do.
Thank you. I do. I fully get. We're on the same thought current. We're on the same sound wave. We're surfing it. This is wonderful. It's beautiful to find.
And that's what I try. that's what I keep trying to say to Karen, and she gets it. I know she gets it. But you know, like she just said, oh, we're on a podcast, so let's not be too personal. I really don't care. I don't care. I can get as personal as I want to get, and I also respect her for not being as personal as she wants to be or doesn't want to be. It really doesn't matter. It's all about. We are short of time. We really are short of time. And when it comes to love, when it comes to the quote unquote God is love is God, and then I don't care. I'll just put my heart on my sleeve and I'll just say what I want to say. And I love
You
that.
did, Nigel.
You know,
You did.
even though
did.
we've never met in the physical, I just know that I want to spend the rest of my life with her, and well, I'll let her say. I won't put her in the position where, you know.
Nigel declared it on our podcast, which hopefully hundreds of people will see.
I will shut up. I will shut up.
No, don't. You don't have to shut up. Claudio.
Well, thank you very much for the hangout. Really appreciate it. As always, Brother James, you're an inspiration. Always something that I learn, and your eloquence and the way you speak is, like I said, second to none. And that's beautiful. For Nigel, pleasure meeting you, brother. See a lot of synergies. See a lot of good things that can come out of us putting our heads together. It's awesome. And to the two of you, congratulations, because you did say it live that, or Memorex, that you guys are married. So congratulations. We're very happy for you, Karen and Nigel, meeting your destiny and how your destiny has pulled you two together. So it's beautiful. It's awesome. It's a good time for this to happen. Just for all the listeners out there, I mean, we're probably being redundant or what have you, but we do have to have another partnership, and that's with the yin. That's the female energies within. That's the Isis. That's the mama, the mother of all mothers. We need to let the charioteer steer us, guide us. They'll tell us go right or go left so we can go to the path we're supposed to go, and that we're destined to have repeated rebirths, dying on the cross. So the more knowledge you gain that way, the better off your life will be. So you have to submit to the female energy. It's not a man in the sky, it's a female in the sky. Everywhere in every culture, they show a female in the sky floating in the clouds. So with that, if you want to know what's going on with people who are being communicated to, because the guides are in every being, animals, insects. We get them. We get the guiding messages, and all you got to do is just submit and just talk to the female energy. We all have it, the female energy. Please go to the website. We don't sell anything. udemy.com/CP for Celestine Prophecy. There's an audio book there. You can ignore the drama in that book, but I recommend. I've seen the movie, but somebody told me, no, you got to read the book. If you want to see the synergies that are happening with everybody around the world, it's beautiful. And when you grab onto those synergies and pull yourself away from the materialistic side of things, you will feel invigorated. Okay? We're seeing it happen to family and friends around us. All these synergies are beautiful. So please, it's about 7 hours worth, but throw them on. It's there's 14 files there, I believe. They're audio, and start listening. It's a really, really good book. Please go have a look. Celestine Prophecy. I can't remember the author's name. It's written on there. The book is on archive.org if you want the book, but it's much easier to listen to the audiobook. So with that, thank you very much, Karen, because you are one of your strengths, as I've always said, is all your beautiful videos and everything that you do. It was bringing people together, and that is something that is very special that you do, Karen, and to bring people together. And so I thank you for that, and I yield.
Oh, bless
Bro,
you, Claudio.
I could not agree more. Thank you so much. And I really hope we can do this again. And thank you to James, I just love you, bro. I really do. I really absolutely love you. I love the way that you put your stuff out. And Karen, well, you know, I've got a kind of special relationship with Karen. And look, I really can't thank you enough. I really can't. And even on behalf of Karen, who, you know, whose channel this is, and I will, once she puts it up, I will download it and I'll put it on my channel as well. But thank you so much. But we are so short of time. We don't have the chance to engage the baby truthers. And then some people will say, well, you're basically preaching to the converted. Sorry, I've got hiccups. You're preaching to the you're preaching to the choir. I don't think we are, because there's so many quote unquote truthers out there that just don't get what we're laying down. They just don't get it. Karen is my wife. We'd never met each other, but we got married. And whatever people want to think, I don't care. I just don't care. I really don't. So thank you, James. Thank you, Claudio. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for everything. And we've been going for 3 hours. And yeah. So
Aww.
love you guys. Love you guys, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Definitely.
Let's do it again.
One love.
Let's do it again.
One love.
I just wanted to say,
Yeah, one love. One love. Bob, wasn't that Bob Marley? One love. And that's really
100%.
the truth. That's what it's all about. One love. Unconditional love. That's it.
if I could just say thank you.
Don't we? James, Claudio, me, and Nigel have him on this hangout.
Yeah, I think James wanted to.
Anyway. Yeah, go, James.
If I can just finish with one thing, and this is a perfect demonstration. It says when Christ says when two or more gather, what happens to the power? Well, it's definitely happens, because Nigel, you said about a human being, and then Claudio, you said about animals and things, and then I thought, of course, Dr. Dolittle. If I could talk to the animal, bang, it's in
James,
with nature.
James, before we close this, can I ask you one question? You just quoted the Bible. You've just quoted the Bible where it says, where two or more gather in my name. Are you sure?
Well, we're all one, but...
No, but are you sure? Because if you go and check the Bible now, it says where more or two or three gather in my name. It does not say where two or more. It says two or three.
Yeah.
A lot of people are calling this out as a Mandela effect. But if you go and look at the Bible, it says where two or three are gathered in my name. And we all remember it as being two or more gathered in my name. So you might want to... go on.
That's what I said. I think I said two or more. I didn't say two or three. But I've seen.
No, you said two or more. You said two or more. You said two or more, because that's what we all remember. But if you go and look at the Bible now, it says where two or three are gathered in my name. So
interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's being called out as another Mandela effect, because we all remember it as being two or more, and now it says two or three.
The thing to remember is like we're a pyramid. We're not a diamond. That's where you got two pyramids back to back.
Yes.
Out of it. But when you take one pyramid, it's a mixture of threes and fours. You've got the four sides of the base. You've got four sides of the pyramids, of the triangles, which are obviously are threes. So it's all three and four encoded in this.
Yep, totally, absolutely, my friend. So Karen, you really should stop recording this now because we've been going for more than 3 hours, and
Okay,
it's kind of
I just suggest that we don't leave the hangout and we say goodbye off the hangout, but for the record.
Yes, I'll start then. Thank you so much for inviting us. This has been phenomenal. This is so wonderful. I love you guys. This is
James. I really am not blowing smoke up your arse. I am so pleased and so privileged because, as Karen said to me, oh, you know, you're going to meet James and he's in the UK, and I never ever thought for a second that it would be you. And I'm listening to your voice and I'm going, oh God, that's fucking Brockhurst. Shit. Yeah. You know, I honestly love your work, mate. I really, really do. And I think that the best part of this whole thing is that we're all kind of coming together, but from different angles.
Yeah.
We're like you're bringing a cake to the table, and I'm bringing some, you know, fried shrimp, and Karen's bringing some sandwiches, and you know we're all on the same page, but we're all bringing different things to the same table.
We're sharing this with the United States because it's not a melting pot. It's all bringing something to create a solid. You all bring
absolutely,
identity. And it's the United States of the mind. We're all it's a union. It's you, the N again, and then I on. It's the third. It's the inner I that you see with. Yeah.
But we're all coming to the same table, but we're all bringing different things to that table.
This is it.
And this is why I personally feel that, you know, Karen and I have got this fucking weird. I don't really mean weird, but I can't explain it any other way. We've got this fucking deep weird connection, that. We just know that we're both going to, even though she's in the UK and I'm in China, we both know that we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. And it is so fucking awesome. It's so wonderful. But it's kind of difficult to put into words.
You don't.
And I know for a fact that, you know, okay, maybe now we're off air, or maybe we're now not recording. But,
this is critical though. This is the critical part. This is the critical part of it. It's when that feeling is that intense. This is what creates the reality. That intense feeling when you get. This is what generates everything. This is all we need to do. You use your imagination. You can pick something when you felt ecstatic, at your happiest. You transmute that feeling and you use your imagination, and it's what would it feel like to be whatever you want to be, and you feel it. You remember the future and it comes into being. Don't worry about how it gets it just has.